Welcome to Starwatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
No announcement prepared the room for what was about to happen. No official cue signaled a turning point. At first glance, the BRTV Gala 2026 unfolded exactly as expected. Measured applause, rehearsed smiles, a carefully polished evening designed to move smoothly from one highlight to the next. Yet beneath that controlled surface, something quietly shifted. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with a single choice of words that no one anticipated. When Wang Yibo addressed Xiao Zhan that night and used the term prince, it did not land like a headline. It landed like a realization. At first, many viewers missed it entirely. The moment was not framed for attention, it was not repeated for effect. But once the clip resurfaced, replayed and slowed down, the weight of that word began to settle. This was not a casual label. It was not playful banter. It was a form of recognition that felt deliberate, precise, and quietly irreversible. And suddenly, what had seemed like just another gala night became one of the most talked about moments of the year, not because it was loud, but because it was unmistakably sincere. The BRTV Gala has always been a space where presence matters as much as performance. Every detail is calibrated, from lighting to pacing, from seating arrangements to camera angles. On this particular night in 2026, that calibration became more visible the moment Xiao Jan appeared. He did not rush, he did not linger. He moved with a steadiness that suggested comfort rather than calculation. There was no visible attempt to command attention, yet attention followed him naturally. Conversations softened around him. Cameras adjusted almost cautiously. It was not admiration in the usual sense. It was acknowledgement. The kind that arises when someone has reached a point where effort is no longer displayed, only absorbed. What many viewers later described was not a dramatic entrance, but a change in atmosphere. The room did not react explosively. Instead, it recalibrated. Xiao Jan's posture was relaxed but upright, his expressions measured, his gestures restrained. Nothing about his presence demanded interpretation, yet everything about it invited observation. In an industry often driven by excess, this restraint stood out sharply. It suggested maturity, not as an image, but as a state of being. Wang Yibo's role in this moment is precisely why it resonated so deeply. His public words are known to be economical. He does not decorate his statements. He does not inflate moments unnecessarily. That is why the term prince, when spoken, carried such weight. It was not delivered as a compliment meant to travel. It was not framed for reaction. It sounded closer to an observation, as though he had simply articulated what had already become evident. Within creative and professional circles, such moments are rare. Titles are often assigned strategically. This one felt earned. The word itself quickly became a point of discussion, but not in the way viral moments usually unfold. Fans did not rush to exaggerate it. Instead, there was a collective pause. Clips were shared slowly. Screenshots circulated without commentary. Many chose to let the moment speak on its own. That reaction was telling. It revealed an instinct to protect rather than exploit. In a digital landscape that thrives on amplification, this restraint was unusual and powerful. As conversations spread across platforms, the focus shifted away from speculation and towards reflection. Viewers began to examine why the moment felt so significant. It was not about hierarchy. It was not about comparison. It was about alignment. Wang Yibo's choice of words framed Xiao Zhan not as someone aspiring to a certain position, but as someone already inhabiting it. That distinction mattered deeply to those who had followed Xiao Zhan's journey closely. His career has been marked by patience, discipline, and an evolving sense of self. What happened at the BRTV Gala did not rewrite that narrative, it confirmed it. Industry observers noticed something else as well. There was no attempt to capitalize on the moment afterwards. No clarifying statements, no follow-up explanations. The silence that followed was as intentional as the word itself. In a culture where moments are often extended far beyond their natural lifespan, allowing this one to remain untouched gave it permanence. It suggested confidence on all sides. Confidence that the recognition did not need reinforcement. For many viewers, the emotional impact unfolded gradually. At first, there was curiosity, then understanding. Finally, a quiet sense of affirmation. The story resonated not because of celebrity, but because of something deeply human. Most people understand the feeling of striving quietly, of refining oneself away from the spotlight, and of eventually being seen not through effort, but through presence. That is why this moment traveled so widely. It mirrored an experience many carry privately. What also set this moment apart was its tone. There was no sense of rivalry, no undercurrent of tension. Instead, there was mutual respect expressed through simplicity. In a space often characterized by noise, this simplicity felt refreshing. It reminded viewers that influence does not always announce itself. Sometimes it is revealed through the calm assurance of those who recognize it. As the gala night faded into memory, the phrase continued to echo, not as a trend, but as a reference point. People returned to it not to sensationalize, but to re-experience the feeling it carried. It became less about the word itself and more about what it represented, a stage of growth where validation arrives naturally, without demand. Looking back, the significance of the moment lies not in its scale, but in its precision. It did not elevate Xiao Zhan artificially. It reflected a truth that had already taken shape. It did not alter his trajectory. It clarified it. And in doing so, it offered a rare example of how recognition, when delivered with restraint, can resonate far more deeply than any grand declaration. As viewers, moments like this invite us to slow down, to notice nuance, to appreciate the power of being seen clearly, without embellishment. They remind us that some of the most meaningful shifts happen quietly, almost unnoticed at first, until we realize that something fundamental has changed. If this story stayed with you longer than expected, you are not alone. Some moments are not designed to pass quickly. They are meant to settle, to linger, and to remind us that growth does not always arrive with noise. It often arrives with certainty. Thank you for spending this time with Starwatch Now. If you appreciate stories that look beyond headlines and explore the moments that truly matter, consider subscribing to the channel and joining our growing community. Your support allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, carefully told stories that value depth over noise. Stay with us, and we will keep bringing you closer to the moments that shape the industry in the most unexpected ways.